Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 1 Samuel, the 26th chapter. And as we saw we read in the 25th chapter, with the incident between David and Nabal, and how the Lord sent Abigail to mediate that and prevent David from shedding blood and avenging himself. At the end, we see the Lord take out Nabal and give Abigail to David to wife. So this is 1 Samuel 26:1, back to Saul's pursuit of David. And the Ziphites came to Saul, came on to Saul to Gibeah, saying, "Doth not David hide himself in the hill of Hachilah, which is before Jeshimon?" Then Saul arose and went down to the wilderness of Ziph. Now, verse 1, they weren't actually asking Saul that. It's, once again, old English way of speaking, but they were telling Saul that, yes, David is over here. Then Saul arose and went down to the wilderness of Ziph, having 3,000 chosen men of Israel with him, to seek David in the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul pitched in the hill Hachilah, which is before Jeshimon by the way. But David abode in the wilderness, and he saw that Saul came after him into the wilderness. David therefore sent out spies, and understood that Saul was come in very deed. And David arose and came to the place where Saul had pitched, and David beheld the place where Saul lay. So after he found out where Saul was, he basically snuck in there, or to a decent enough space to be able to spy it out. And David beheld the place where Saul lay, and Abner the son of Ner, the captain of his host. And Saul lay in the trench, and the people pitched round about him. Then answered David and said to Ahimelech, and so Saul was in the middle, and you had Abner and the rest of his host surrounding him. So basically, in order to get to Saul, you'd have to go through them. Then answered David and said to Ahimelech the Hittite, and this isn't the priest, right? This is one of David's men. And to Abishai the son of Zeruiah, brother to Joab, saying, "Who will go down with me to Saul, to the camp?" And Abishai said, "I will go down with thee." So David and Abishai came to the people by night, and behold, Saul lay sleeping within the trench, and his spear struck in the ground at his bolster. The bolster meaning your head, where you lay your head. So Saul's asleep, his spear is by his head. Abner, as it says, but Abner and the people lay round about him. So they were sleeping, but they were sort of like surrounding him. Then said Abishai to David, "God hath delivered thine enemy into thine hand this day. Now therefore let me smite him, I pray thee, with the sword, or with the spear, even to the earth at once. And I will not smite him the second time." Meaning, just give me the green light and I'll end him quick, one shot. I won't need to smite him again. He'll be done in one. And David said to Abishai, "Destroy him not. For who can stretch forth his hand against the Lord's anointed and be guiltless?" So at this time, right, Saul's hosts are asleep. And so David stays the hand of Abishai and prevents him from slaying Saul. David said furthermore, "As the Lord Yahweh liveth, the Lord shall smite him, or his day shall come to die, or he shall descend into battle and perish." So don't. We're not going to take matters into our own hands. The Lord will deal with it. Either the Lord will plague him with something, or he'll just get old and die, or he'll go to battle one day and he'll die that way. But the Lord forbid that I should stretch forth mine hand against the Lord's anointed. So the Lord appointed him, the Lord will take him out. But I pray thee, take thou now the spear that is at his bolster, and the cruse of water, and let us go. So they snuck into the camp, basically. They removed Saul's spear and his water that was by his head, and then they snuck out. So David took the spear and the cruse of water from Saul's bolster, and they gat them away, and no man saw it, nor knew it, neither awaked. So they were all still knocked out. For they were all asleep, because a deep sleep from the Lord Yahweh was fallen upon them. So the Lord put them in a such a deep sleep that they didn't hear anything. They were all just knocked out. For David to sneak right into the mist and then get the spear and everything. Then David went over to the other side and stood on the top of an hill afar off, a great space between them. And David cried to the people and to Abner the son of Ner, saying, Answerest thou not, Abner? Then Abner answered and said, Who art thou that criest to the king? So basically, you're just gonna keep sleeping? And then Abner wakes up and responded, like, who are you? And David said to Abner, Art not thou a valiant man? And who is like to thee in Israel? Wherefore then hast thou not kept the Lord, thy Lord the king? So aren't you supposed to be one of the top men in? Like who can compare to you? And here it is, you just, you ain't even protecting your master. For there came one of the people in to destroy the king thy Lord. This thing is not good that thou hast done. As the Lord Yahweh liveth, ye are worthy to die. Meaning, it would have been on your watch that Saul would have died, because you were knocked out. Because ye have not kept your master, the Lord's anointed. And now see where the king's spear is, and the cruse of water that was at his bolster. So now, take a look. The spear and the water are gone. So somebody was definitely there. And Saul knew David's voice and said, Is this thy voice, my son David? And David said, It is my voice, my lord, O king. And he said, Wherefore doth my lord pursue after his servant? For what have I done? Or what evil is in mine hand? Now therefore I pray thee, let my lord the king hear the words of his servant. If the Lord have stirred thee up against me, let him accept an offering. So if it be the Lord that has put the spirit on you to come after me, let him accept an offering and be appeased. But if it be the children of men, but if it be, like your servants or your advisors, cursed be they before the Lord Yahweh, for they have driven me out this day from abiding in the inheritance of the Lord. So because of them whispering into your ears, I can't even dwell in the amongst my people in the land. I got to keep on fleeing, saying, Go serve other gods, meaning like they've driven me to the point where I had to go to the land of Moab. I had to go to the Philistines, like, and dwell amongst these heathens to be susceptible. Obviously not that David would do it, but to be susceptible to follow their ways, having dwelt with them so long. Now therefore, let not my blood fall to the earth before the face of the Lord Yahweh, for the king of Israel is come out to seek a flea, as when one doth hunt a partridge in the mountains. So don't shed my blood in the presence of the Lord. I'm innocent. Because you coming out against me, I'm but a flea, but you coming out to hunt like you after like a super fast bird, being a partridge, that is. Then said Saul, I have sinned. Return, my son David, for I will no more do thee harm, because my soul was precious in thine eyes this day. Behold, I have played the fool, and have erred exceedingly. And David answered and said, Behold the king's spear, and let one of the young men come over and fetch it. So then he revealed the spear, that, look, I got the spear. That's how close I was. I could have killed you again. And the Lord render to every man his righteousness and his faithfulness. So the Lord judge every man accordingly. For the Lord delivered thee into my hand today, but I will not stretch forth mine hand against the Lord's anointed. And behold, as thy life was much set by this day in mine eyes, so as I valued your life this day, so let my life be much set by in the eyes of the Lord Yahweh. May he value mine, and let him deliver me out of all tribulation. Then Saul said to David, Blessed be thou, my son David. Thou shalt both do great things, and also shalt still prevail. So David went on his way, and Saul returned to his place. And that is the end of 1 Samuel, the 26th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rechak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.